All right, so today I wanted to talk about something that is obviously very relevant. Everything I share here is very relevant to us here at FERMAT, but then also things that are relevant to a lot of the brands that we work with as they are embarking on their journeys. So one that has come up constantly, most recently, is this idea of category creation. And it's come up for FERMAT, obviously, because we have created this new category, which, uh, it looks similar to other things, but it is like fundamentally different than what most people think about. And at the same time, we work with a lot of brands who have like fundamentally created new categories. And so the thing that I thought would be useful to share is sort of what is the experience of actually creating a new category and what are the risks that you take and what are the benefits. And I think fundamentally it boils down to adoption versus ability to be the leader. So let's just say you're running like a replacement, like, it is not a new category. So what that means is like, uh, if you're not in a new category, you are likely in a low adoption, so the risk of adoption is low because you know what the sales process is. And yes, it's competitive, but there's not actually adoption risk, right? And then your ability to be the leader is the thing that is basically based on execution against that existing market, right? So, and it's harder, right? So it's like much harder to be the leader in a highly competitive category where there's known motions and known buying cycles and things like that. Um, but again, you trade that with low adoption. So a good example is in the e-com space, t-shirts are highly competitive. So adoption risk is nominally low, but it is very competitive. And so it is all about execution on, being able to be a leader in apparel. Now, I would say high adoption risk or high adoption pain is very much what happens when you're in the category creation zone. And your ability to be leader is much higher because you've created the category, right? So, what's a good example of this? So when AG1 first started, for example, this idea of, you take only one thing in order to get all of your daily supplements, essentially, that can improve your health, that was high adoption risk, right? There were very few other brands at that time who were willing to take on that risk. But then they became the leader, and it was clear that they became the leader. I would say similar with the trend for um, mushroom supplements. Right now, there's like, whether it's drinks or gummies or whatever it may be, there's now a lot of companies, but the first ones who did it. So if you think back to like Mudwater, right, is at least to my knowledge the first one who did it. They had high adoption risk, but then they had the ability to be the leader as a consequence of that. And so, you basically put yourself in this zone where you take on high adoption risk, but you have much higher ability to be leader. Whereas as you move to things that are non-category creating, you have low adoption risk, but low ability to be the leader, and it's very execution dependent. Now, of course, like this zone doesn't, this zone is, a category that is not relevant, basically. So you don't really want to be in this zone. And these three are the zones that actually matter. But yeah, this is just a framing that I think is helpful for especially founders of brands who are building in a new category. You do get to take on that leadership status, and then you should embrace that leadership status. Because then once you're the leader, everybody else has to basically justify why they are similar to you, right? And that's a position that you do want to be in. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one.